We have breaking news at this hour. I have seen enough. Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic nominee for governor in Virginia, will be victorious. Democrats will flip the Virginia governor's race blue. This is a major development. It's not a surprising one, but it is a major one because Governor Glenn Youngkin, the incumbent Republican governor, handpicked his lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears, the Republican nominee in this race, to run against Abigail Spanberger. And Spanberger has come out on top this evening. A major win for a Democrat in a race that Democrats desperately needed to pick up this mid-year election. It is a big, big win for Spanberger. If you don't know more about Abigail Spanberger, she is a former Democratic member of Congress. She previously served as a case officer in the CIA, has years of experience in public service and in government, and will now serve as Virginia's next governor. If you remember, just 4 years ago, Governor Glenn Youngkin defeated Terry McAuliffe, the former Virginia governor, Democrat, in a very tight race. Tonight's race, well, it won't be so tight. Spanberger is going to win, and she is going to win by a decent and healthy margin. And not just that, Democrats are seeing success across the state. Democrats are expected to pick up seats across the state in the House of Delegates, ensure that you have a Democratic majority likely in the Senate and in the House of Delegates, which would give Governor-elect Spanberger literally a mandate to go and pass whatever legislation that is needed to support and benefit the people of Virginia. And while one of those pieces of legislation that's going to be a very hot topic in the coming days and weeks is potentially redistricting of Virginia, there are reports that Virginia Democrats may now move to try to redistrict the state and make it a 10-to-1 congressional map, giving Democrats in Congress an extra 2 to 3 congressional seats, and also solidifying, making stronger the seats currently held by Democrats like Eugene Vindman in Virginia's 7th congressional district. Overall, a major good night for Democrats in Virginia. And is this a sign of things to come tonight, right? There are elections across the country, including a very critical election all the way out in California on Prop 50. Is this a sign of what's to come regarding elections throughout the night? If it is, well, then Democrats, get ready, because you're going to have a very good night. But as always, every state is different. Every election is different. And if you look at trends leading up to tonight's election in Virginia, all signs pointed to a clear Spanberger victory, and that's what we got. Now, looking ahead, what does this mean for Virginia heading into 2026? And what does this mean for the country heading into 2026? Well, you now have that redistricting battle that's going to happen in Virginia, which is a big deal, right? Democrats could pick up a number of seats in Virginia. That's a big deal. But you also look at the generic congressional ballot nationwide, and poll after poll shows that Democrats are now widening their gap in terms of support. And that spells trouble for Republicans in Congress. And it really spells a lot of trouble for the White House. And I'll tell you why. Donald Trump, no matter how much he wants to run for a third term in office, he's not going to be able to. He's not. And so Donald Trump has realistically 3 years left on his term. If Democrats are successful in flipping the House of Representatives next year, then what you're going to get is a situation where government is ground to a halt. And Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress will not be able to pass most of Donald Trump's agenda. And what happens next? Well, a 4-year term is effectively cut in half in just 2 years. And a lot of what Donald Trump wants to accomplish doesn't work. And if Democrats somehow take the United States Senate, that'll be a little harder. Well, then Donald Trump's nominees, from judges to justices on the Supreme Court to just regular nominees in his cabinet and elsewhere, they become very difficult to get through. And he's going to have to work with Democrats to try to get them across the finish line. And listen, all signs right now point to Democrats having a very successful 2026. So we're about to see what happens next. Now, If you want to look at Spanberger's victory tonight, it really is not a surprise because Winsome Earl Sears was such a bad candidate. I mean, remember, this is the person that literally said on the campaign trail during a debate that if you fire someone for being gay, well, that's not discrimination. And she personally said on multiple occasions in the past that she did not support gay marriage. So this is someone who really wanted to bring Virginia backwards. And well, at a time right now where the Trump administration is not focusing on reducing the cost of living, and instead is making it actually more expensive to live in a state like Virginia where costs continue to rise because of tariffs, it's not surprising to see Spanberger win, especially when Spanberger ran her campaign on an affordability agenda. Her campaign was not super partisan. It really wasn't. If you watched her TV ads, if you watched her campaign trail talk, what she was saying on the stump, it wasn't super left versus right, red versus blue. It was very much, let's figure out a way to end the dysfunction in Washington, D.C. And let's figure out a way to protect Virginians here at home. Because if you don't know about Virginia, well, Virginia has more federal workers than nearly every state across the country. Tens of thousands of federal workers that rely on the government, right? And well, the government shutdown has harmed a lot of these Virginians. Many of them have either had to work without pay or they just had been furloughed without pay. Many of them haven't been able to get critical benefits. And that's not all. The government shutdown wasn't the only thing here. You remember back during the beginning of the Trump administration, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge went on a mass firing spree across the federal government, targeting workers that lived across the Commonwealth of Virginia. And a lot of people, well, they didn't forget that. They didn't forget that. You don't just forget being fired. You don't forget your neighbors being laid off, all because of someone like Big Balls running the show. And so where you're at, well, you're in a situation where you now have a Democratic governor, a Democratic legislature, Democratic Senate, Democratic House of Delegates. You got Democrats everywhere. Major, major victory for Abigail Spanberger in Virginia. Now, we are watching other races very closely across the country. We're watching races in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and later tonight in California. And when we get more updates, you'll get an update from me on the hour every time something big happens. So make sure, set your notifications on, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and get ready for a wild election night. And as it stands right now, a very good election night for Democrats across the country. I will have more updates for you soon. Like I said, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another update. So stay tuned and giddy up, get ready for more. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.